liberals doing the personal responsibility thing about regular people falling for propaganda about China is as much a sign we're definitely falling into a right-wing Pakistan anything Trump related. Again, we're not doing this here. We're not doing this here. First of all, the whole point of my video is that like there really isn't that much, like there is not really any propaganda about China being a horrible, decrepit, impoverished place in the United States. Like that's not a thing. You don't see that in our films in Hollywood. You don't see that on television. It's like not really a thing. So I think people are probably mistaking what they hear about North Korea, which, by the way, is a terrible place, uh, for what they hear about China. And yeah, I think I'm going to hold people responsible for not being curious about the information that comes their way. But this gets to another thing. Since when did being on the left mean no one can tell me I have to go to bed, right? Like, since when did being on the left become this thing where we're just going to pretend like there's no such thing as personal responsibility? Now, the complaint about personal responsibility politically is that when you live in a system that has poverty and inequality by design, when you live in a system that is extraordinarily wealthy but does not have basic provisionings for people's essential needs, that it's absurd to tell them that like they're personally responsible for the fact of inequality, for the fact of poverty. Like that's nonsense. But what isn't nonsense, what is just true, is that yes, we are personally responsible for the choices we make in our lives. We we have personal responsibility to do the best with what we're given. Like that's just true. Like living in an suboptimal political and economic system doesn't free you from having to make responsible choices, from having to adhere to responsibilities and obligations and duties, and to do as much as you can to do the right thing for yourself and others. And this idea that capitalism means I'm not responsible for anything about my life, it's just childish. It's just I don't have to go to bed, right? Like, grow up. Someone in these comments said you shouldn't blame people who have to make rent for not knowing things. And in point of fact, some of the smartest people I know work blue collar jobs. Some of the most well-read people I know work service jobs. I come from a family of a lot of very well-read, very smart people, and not all of them have college degrees. Many of them, in fact, became well-read and became knowledgeable about the world while doing their blue-collar manual labor jobs. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's not an excuse. You can say, "Oh, I don't want to do those things." Okay, that's fine. But like, no, like we have responsibilities to ourselves and to others. And one of the responsibilities we do have to ourselves is not to be ignorant when we don't have to be. Not to be ignorant when we don't have to